Hey everybody, you've made it to another Canary Cry News Talk live stream, pre-stream. We're going to get going in just about a minute here. But if you could, go ahead and hit that like button as soon as you can and with as much enthusiasm as you can muster. We would appreciate that very much, especially getting those likes early on in the show here helps other people find it during the live broadcast. So thank you very much. As usual, make sure to stay hydrated, and a big old congratulations to Ennumati2 over on Twitch for the first comment of the day award. Okay, folks, fun day today. We're going to have a little bit of a shorter news talk, and then immediately after, we will be having a Canary Cry radio interview. So get ready for that. Okay, here we go.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is January 25th, 2021. This is episode 291. And today, Biden and loosing. And you know me, I am your best buddy, Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we praise Jesus while reporting the egregious. Oh, I messed that one up. With a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. Well, we made it through the weekend. We're back.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have a shorter episode because we have Judd Burton interview coming up. The Rephaim Kings. I think that's going to be a really good one. Good conversation. So look out for that. But how was your weekend, Basil?
So far, so good. Not much, not very exciting. I did watch Rush Hour. The classic with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan there. And you revisit some of these old movies and you just got to say, oh, it was a different time. Rush Hour is an example of one of those movies that would not fly in today's, politically correct, tolerant mainstream media. Now, shoot, what was I going to say? Anyways, the director of Rush Hour famously got Me Too'd pretty hard. And so watching that movie with hindsight is, you can tell this guy was going to get in trouble at some point.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much everybody in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Although, before we forget.
Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Like, subscribe, bell button, all.
Yes, very important. For those who are just joining the broadcast, please hit that like button, subscribe, bell button, all. Okay.
Today is January 25th, which means Q Day.
Yes. Right? Yeah, something was supposed to happen today. I was actually just going back through my messages and conversations trying to figure out exactly what was supposed to happen. But I think generally what was being told to me was when the most recent Linwood predictions or Q predictions were put out back on January 10th. I guess Linwood had put a time range. When he posted on the 10th, he said in the next 10 to 14 days, something was going to happen. And so people were really stretching it out to the 24th or 25th. But so far as we know, no arrests. Hillary Clinton is still on the loose.
Yeah, I saw Blue Pill in the chat talk about the inauguration being pre-recorded with people disappearing. I think we're going to... we don't have that exact debunk because I actually did try to debunk it on Twitter because people were talking about it and freaking out. You and I have both done live video for churches and stuff.
Yeah.
Camera angles matter, and an overshot view of the not the podium, but the balcony there where they held the inauguration would show why certain angles would make it seem like people behind Biden would suddenly disappear. They didn't really disappear for real. They were just not in the shot. But regardless of what, and we got other things to debunk there real quick. But
the one that throws me off with that is on the day, Ted Cruz actually posted a tweet with a video from behind the podium there or whatever as well, while Lady Gaga was doing her singing. So if indeed it was pre-recorded and all planned, somehow they got Ted Cruz on it too.
Ted Cruz CGI.
Yeah.
What is taking place starting today is Davos. So we'll keep a close ear to the ground on that and report on stuff coming Wednesday and Friday in the coming weeks and months. People will probably start talking about what was discussed at Davos, the World Economic Forum. You know, Klaus is holding some kind of event.
Yeah, I was going to say, Klaus really got a big presence at this one.
I know. He's like the champion of this year's Davos. So we'll look out for that. Also, real quick, we could use this later on or talk about it later on, but I wanted to do it right at the top here.
It's Newsom science, baby! Ha!
Ooh.
Newsom lifts the shutdown in California.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, didn't see that coming, right? Only 50 restaurateurs suing him. Bunch of people signing, to get him out of there. He's trying to save himself.
You know, it's nice to see when pressure from the people in small businesses actually have some sort of effect. You think he's going to save himself, or do people still hate him?
People still hate him.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm still
nice
looking
try,
to sign.
Newsom.
Yeah, good try, Newsom. Ha.
Now, what does lift the shutdown mean? Like, what are the details of that? Is he taking it all back? You can run wild in the streets, or
I don't know. Actually, I really don't know. I think he's supposed to. Well, let's see. Let me check real quick, because I know it was like not a rumor, but it was just expected that he's going to do it today, and I think he officially did. And we can get into exactly what he said or whatever, but according to the Los Angeles Times, Newsom cancels California's COVID-19 stay-at-home orders. California officials lifted regional coronavirus stay-at-home orders across the state on Monday, a change that could allow restaurants and gyms in many counties to reopen outdoor dining and other services. So outdoor dining, I mean, they could reopen outdoor dining, which is okay, whatever.
Okay, so it's far from clear. It's the stay-at-home order that he's canceled.
Yeah, it's far from clear whether the decision will lead to easing stay-at-home rules in LA County, which has become a national hotbed of the coronavirus, with hospitals overwhelmed by patients, says the LA Times. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's just to curtail the Mark Garagos lawsuit against not just the first he sued LA County and asked the officials to produce any kind of science to back up shutting down restaurants, even outdoor dining. Right. And then once the deadline came and went and they couldn't produce any science, they just basically pushed it up to the state. They're like, oh, the state's going to take it. And so Garagos went ahead and sued the state, and a whole bunch of people jumped on board. And then all of a sudden Newsom was like, yeah.
It's Newsom science, baby.
So we'll see how that turns out. But I think this is Newsom trying to save face and trying to save his political career right now. So that's my take.
Yeah. When is the next election? When is he up for renewal?
I think he still has a couple years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, what do you do? Every 2 years? Every 4 years over there?
Too far. I should be better versed in this stuff. I just don't pay attention. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, cool. Let's see. What do you think? You want to go into a Flippy update, or you have something else?
Just real quick, because we missed the story, and I'm really bummed that we missed it. There was a knife-wielding squirrel.
Oh, no.
That was caught on video a few weeks ago. And it's just so awesome. And I was wondering if it was the knife that producer Nigel had put together. It's got a similar look, but the winner of the knife there, we really, this could have been a really good promotional tool during the whole Nigel knife situation.
Knife-wielding squirrels, that has to be somewhere in the Book of Revelation. Somewhere.
Somewhere.
You don't have an apocalypse without a knife-wielding squirrel.
So there you go. I'm just bummed that we missed that one. But otherwise,
he's a big boy too.
That is a big squirrel.
It's a burly squirrel. It looks like he really knows how to use that thing.
He's a little too comfortable with it.
Okay, well, before we get into the big stories, let's check in on Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, folks, so if you don't know, Flippy is the colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a proxy conversation to explore how robotics and AI are taking over the world. There's nothing we can do about it. This is actually an interesting update, Guns. Not quite Flippy proper, but we're going to check in on our good friend Sophia, the first robot that obtained citizenship in, Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Right.
And this is coming from news.trust.org. So
Reuters thing there. I don't know why it's news.trust. Maybe they jumped on that domain just to...
It's just good to know that we can... trust them. The headline here is makers of Sophia the robot plan, and this is the scary part, mass rollout amid pandemic. Rollout. Social robots like me can take care of the sick or elderly, Sophia says as she conducts a tour of her lab in Hong Kong. I don't think it really occurred to me that Sophia was Chinese. Or Hong Kongian, at least. Quote, I can help communicate, give therapy, and provide social stimulation, even in difficult situations. Right. Since being unveiled in 2016, Sophia, a humanoid robot, has gone viral. Ooh, bad choice of words. You can't say that anymore. I think that term, post-pandemic, needs to float away.
Oh, I know. That is weird.
Now, what?
That is definitely strange that the word viral has this different connotation post scamdemic here.
Yeah, where before, for those who need a little internet history lesson, viral meant a piece of content passing from person to person, becoming very popular, like a virus. Now we can't, I don't know, it just is a little different. Anyways, it continues. Now the company behind her has a new vision to mass produce robots by the end of the year. This has... just to stop us right there, one of my predictions for 2021 was that household humanoid robots would become, at least take a leap forward in popularity. And Sophia moving into this mass production really is helping my prediction along only less than a month into the year. Hanson Robotics, based in Hong Kong, said 4 models, including Sophia, would start rolling out of factories in the first half of 2021, just as researchers predict the pandemic will open new opportunities for the robotics industry. Oh, good. The Great Reset is getting involved here. Quote, the world of COVID-19 is going to need more and more automation to keep people safe, founder and chief executive David Hanson said, standing surrounded by robot heads in his lab. Hanson believes robotic solutions to the pandemic are not limited to healthcare, but could assist customers in industries such as retail and airlines too. Oh, sorry. I took some vitamins before the show, and we might have a vitamin emergency. Quote, Sophia and Hanson robots are unique by being so human-like, he added. Quote, that can be so useful during these times where people are terribly lonely and socially isolated. Hanson said he aims to sell thousands. They put thousands in quotes. So, okay. Hanson said he aims to sell thousands of robots in 2021, both large and small, without providing a specific number. Social robotics professor Johan Horn, whose research has included work with Sophia, said that although the technology is still in relative infancy, the pandemic could accelerate a relationship between humans and robots. This is what we are afraid of. Quote, I can infer the pandemic will actually help us get robots earlier in the market because people start to realize that there's no other way. What? There's no other way besides getting robots. This is This is like the beginning of a movie, well, where robots take over the world. Hanson Robotics is launching a robot this year called Grace.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, developed for the healthcare sector. Products from other big players in the industry are helping fight the pandemic as well. SoftBank's robotics Pepper robot was deployed to detect people who weren't wearing masks. Snitchbot. In China, robotics company CloudMinds helped set up a robot-run field hospital during the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan. The use of robots was on the rise before the pandemic, according to a report by the International Federation of Robotics. That's a spooky name. Worldwide sales of professional service robots had already jumped 32%. Oh, so close. To 11.2 billion between 2018 and 2019. Some humans might be wary of putting robots in such sensitive roles. When asked whether people should fear robots, Sophia had an answer already. Quote, "Someone said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself," the robot mused. What did she know? Or what did he know? Yeah. And was it Sophia that said she wanted to put us all in a people zoo?
No.
Or was that okay? That was somebody else.
Yeah, that was
good.
That was that was a different robot. That was the Philip K. Dick robot.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, you know what I found interesting? Some humans might be wary. Like the categorization of human versus robot is becoming more defined in terms of even in the article, They talk about robots. Well, we have to be clear about the distinction of who's thinking what. So
right.
some humans...
Domestic violent extremists are scared of robots. Good, hardworking citizens love robots, which are you.
Yeah, this is not a good sign. We predicted very early on, even before all the lockdowns and everything, when the virus flu thing started to spread around, we were like, you know what this is going to be used for? Robots. This is going to be the excuse to really roll out the robots.
Called it.
Yeah. Interesting how big the jump was, 32% between 2018 and 2019. The 2019 to 2021, and by the end of 2021, I predict I would say 33%. That would be a great number. But given the situation, I think it's going to be at least 50% more robots. It's time, man. The age of the robot takeover.
Yeah. Well,
okay. That's all I got.
That's all you got. Okay. Well, let's fly through some of these stories here. There's a few that I want to get through. This first one here. 666. This was on VladTV.com. Exclusive, Dan Severn on refusing to write 666 on forehead to join Undertaker's team. Did you ever watch wrestling growing up, Basil?
No, I was one of these, I was kind of in the, no, I just didn't understand it.
Okay.
It just went from like, that's not real, it's fake. And that was it. Of course it is fake and nobody ever thought it was real. But I just don't think I had any influences in my life that helped me do it. Now, nowadays, I do appreciate that it exists, but I don't really watch it.
I was tuning into one of the recent Joe Rogan Experience episodes where they interviewed the guy who was the Undertaker.
Uh-huh.
And he seems like such a down-to-earth guy, but he's like, yeah, I was in character for 30 years. It's like, oh man, that's pretty gnarly. But yeah, I mean, I remember watching The Undertaker. I only watched it for about a year or two when I was very young. I must have been, I don't know, 9, 10 years old, something like that. There was like the Bushwhackers and 1, 2, 3 Kid and Bret the Hitman Hart, and there was a whole bunch of them. But anyway, this is Dan Severn talking about being asked to put 666 on his forehead to be part of this Undertaker crew and refusing to do so.
Now the creative team has pitched it. They want to put 666 across my forehead, mark of the beast. They want to make me an Undertaker disciple. They had that ministry of darkness or whatever at that point in time. I didn't pay no real attention to it because I wouldn't have nothing to do with it. But as they're pitching this to me, I put up my hands like a T and I blow a little whistle noise. I'm like, I was timeout, guys. Not going to happen.
There you go. So he refused the mark of the beast on his
He
forehead.
refused the actual mark of the beast. Good for him.
Good for him. So yeah, nice job there, Mr. Dan Severn, who was also known as the Beast. So maybe read the Bible a little bit more there, buddy. But it was back then. He was making money. He was slamming dudes on the ring there. So good job. Couple 33. Well, you know what? This 33 update I got emailed so many times that if I don't cover it, I'm sure people are going to freak out.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
The FBI has found dozens of missing children in Los Angeles. It's all part of what's being called Operation Lost Angels. The operation involved the LAPD, the LA County Sheriff's Department, and 24 other local agencies. Of the 33 children found, 8 were being sexually exploited or trafficked. All were between the ages of 13 and 17. Now, the operation also resulted in the arrest of a suspected human trafficker. Multiple other investigations have been started as well. The FBI says rescuing the victims is just the first step in the recovery process.
There you go. So the story, 33 minors rescued in LA County, part of the FBI Operation Lost Angels. And of course, 33 kids.
Yes.
Not 32, not 34.
Yeah. And for those who might be new to the show, 33, as many will mention, is sort of like an Illuminati dog whistle. It's by the best that anybody can tell, it's used to signal in plain sight, especially when attached to news stories and things like that. This is interesting. We don't claim to know exactly what the messages are, but this could be an interesting one regarding, the child trafficking issues that is going on within elite circles, and that's not conspiracy theory. That's just news.
Yeah, but I think people are upset because the news story mentions like, oh yeah, it was allegedly done by traffickers, and you said no kidding. Well, where's Hillary Clinton? Where all these people that are supposed to be arrested for doing this stuff, or at least complicit in doing it, or were customers or whatever.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I don't know that they're ever going to be arrested. It's like this level, the low-hanging fruit will be arrested. The people on the ground doing it, and they'll be thrown under the bus, even if they
Jeffrey
were promised.
Epstein has been sort of the highest, profile person that's actually had any consequences for this. Yeah.
Well, alleged consequences. He may be out there drinking Mai Tais on Israel or something. But
sure.
In any case,
in
Israel. No, there is a floating island called Israel that we don't know about. Okay, so there were a couple more 33s. They come in waves, and a lot of people sent me this story, and I was like, I get it. The story it's pretty crazy, the 33, but there was more.
33 is the number of completion of the Great War.
This is WSLS.com. Southwest Virginia man pleads guilty to 33 child pornography charges. He will spend 20 years in prison. So kind of hand in hand with the other story there, but again, 33 charges. Just to keep the pattern going, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if there's messaging like "take cover."
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we're starting to crack down. And then this one's a little bit of a nicer story. I wanted to end the 33 updates with this one because it's just a little nicer. KSDK.com. Metro East Humane Society rescues 33 dogs from Arkansas.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so
wow.
Yeah, this is a little bit nicer of a story, but again, maybe this is another dog whistle.
Hey.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, we have a whole section here on Tacoma police. What is there enough going on with the Tacoma police that they have their own section?
Shameful generation!
Did you not see what was going down at in Washington there?
Did it happen over the weekend?
I don't know, possibly. Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah, I don't pay attention on the weekend.
Okay. Well, this is Cairo or KIRO7.com. Pedestrian run over by Tacoma officer, surrounded by crowd. Incident caught on camera. And I saw a lot of people sharing it on social media.
I did see the video. Was this the one, the big crowd, and then the cop just gunned it out of the
yes,
out of the crowd and knocked him over like bowling pins?
Yeah, and ran over a dude. You can clearly see the car run over a guy.
Yeah, yikes.
So the story is a Tacoma police officer whose SUV was surrounded by a crowd was seen on camera running over a pedestrian Saturday night. The incident was captured on camera and distributed on social media. Afterward, an angry group of protesters gathered near where the accident happened. Tacoma police said dispatchers started receiving calls around 6:20 p.m. about cars and people blocking the intersection of South 9th and Pacific Avenue. Vehicles were reported to have been doing burnouts and donuts. When police arrived at the scene, a crowd of about 100 people had gathered. Officers began clearing the intersection. A Tacoma police officer who arrived in an SUV with its lights and sirens on soon found himself surrounded by people who were banging on the stopped vehicle and its windows in a threatening way. Tacoma police said that fearing for his safety, the officer tried to back up, but was unable to because of the crowd. While trying to leave the unsafe situation, the officer drove forward and hit one person and possibly others, police said. Tacoma police officer Wendy Haddow said she believed a man fell under the SUV as it moved forward and was run over. When the officer got to a safe location, he called for medics. The man was taken to a hospital. Police had originally said the pedestrian had minor injuries, but have since said his condition is not known. And it's really interesting because the video that went viral was clearly, the cop car is around a crowd. I think I have the video. Yeah, so I'm going to keep the sound off. Just, a little warning there for people that might get disturbed with this kind of thing. So you have the cop car. He's in this crowd, a whole bunch of people, and he's trying to move forward, and he can't. And, it's just pretty rowdy. He backs up, and then he charges forward. And all these people just fly out. I mean, they just get tossed.
Right.
And then you can see him just crushing this dude.
Oh, yikes.
As he rolls off there. So pretty clear, messed up situation. But the other thing that I don't think a whole bunch of people realized was that there was another piece of footage that showed the beginning of this footage. And the story talked about it, but there's like a car doing donuts in the intersection.
Was it like a car meet or something?
I don't exactly know what was
the
going
event before the cops showed up.
I don't even know. I really don't know. But yeah, they were doing donuts like right in front in the intersection, and that looked pretty dangerous too. So, as per usual, we're not going to get the full story here.
Sure.
And,
well, the lesson to be learned here is if you surround and attack a police car, he's going to try to get away. So don't be in front of it.
Don't be in front of a... Oops. Well, there's more footage of stuff, but I think this footage that I'm showing here doesn't really show anything. It's like the aftermath of everything. But where did that footage go? I had it. I think it was in the article. They might have pulled it out of the article. That would be kind of wild. It was in here earlier.
The donuts footage?
Yeah, the donuts.
Did you check your second link there in the document?
I did. That's the...
yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here it is. Okay.
It's right down below there.
Yeah, right down below it. So yeah, there you see, for those of you watching... Okay, you heard that car there, but yeah, if you watch the video, he's doing donuts. There's smoke everywhere. And that's when... that's right before the camera swings over to the left and starts filming the police officer, the police car.
Yeah, the cop really guns it through the crowd. I'm really curious what he saw, if there was some sort of inciting incident that made him panic as much as he did. Because he didn't, usually you kind of just try to lurch forward and push the humans out of the way and, kind of make it through, but he just guns it. I wonder if there's something like he saw a weapon or somebody pulled out a gun or something. I don't know. That's just me being curious about such a rash decision.
There was some footage from, I can't remember which country it was, but they were flipping over police cars. So maybe he saw that footage and he was like, I'm not going to let this happen to me.
I don't know. I can't claim to know what was going on up there, but I don't know. The gunning it really has got me questioning what was going on. Something serious must have been going. Well, I say let's keep moving because we got to get through this show and ready for the interview.
And just to wrap that story up, he was the police officer driving the car, 58 years old, and has been a member of the Tacoma Police Department for more than 29 years. So not just some young hothead, trying to get out of a situation.
Right.
But let's move on here.
Politics, baby.
Politics.
It's Latin for many.
Tick.
They'll suck your blood.
Politics.
We will launch a new age.
Woo! Okay, to start us off here, I got something from apnews.com, a big step in the Trump lawsuits. The headline is Supreme Court ends Trump emoluments lawsuits. The Supreme Court on Monday. Was that today? That was today. Wow. The Supreme Court on Monday brought an end to the lawsuits over whether Donald Trump illegally profited off his presidency, saying the cases are moot now that Trump is no longer in office. The High Court's action was the first in an unexpected steady stream of orders and rulings on pending lawsuits involving Trump now that his presidency has ended. Some orders may result in dismissal of cases since Trump is no longer president. In other cases, proceedings that had been delayed because Trump was in the White House could resume and their pace even quicken. The justices threw out Trump's challenge to lower court rulings that had allowed lawsuits to go forward alleging that he violated the Constitution's emoluments clause by accepting payments from foreign and domestic officials who stay at the Trump International Hotel and patronize other businesses owned by the former president and his family. The High Court also ordered the lower court rulings thrown out as well and directed appeals court in New York and Richmond, Virginia to dismiss the suits as moot now that Trump is no longer in office. The outcome leaves no appellate court opinions on the books in an area of the law that has been rarely explored in U.S. history. The case involved suits filed by Maryland and the District of Columbia, the high-end restaurants and hotels in New York and Washington, D.C. that, quote, found themselves in the unenviable position of having to compete with businesses owned by the President of the United States. The suits sought financial records showing how much state and foreign governments have paid the Trump Organization to stay and eat at Trump-owned properties. The cases never reached the point where any record had been turned over, but Karl Racine and Brian Frosch, the Attorney Generals of Washington, D.C. and Maryland, respectively, said in a joint statement that a ruling by a federal judge in Maryland that went against Trump, quote, will serve as precedent that will help stop anyone else from using the presidency to offer, presidency or other federal office for personal financial gain, the way that President Trump has over the past 4 years. What?
I'm just saying, really? Like Trump is the one that they're going to use as the model for not allowing some kind of financial gain?
Yeah, well, it is interesting because Trump and the Trump Organization, I mean, they had more attention on their financial dealings during Trump's presidency than I expect any other president has, at least to my knowledge, or during our lifetime. But this is interesting. They're throwing all of it out. This was one of the these were the types of suits that were sort of hanging over him for almost his entire presidency and also threatened his, legal safety after his presidency there. And just very interesting how they all suddenly get thrown out. Maybe this was the big January 24th, 25th thing that was supposed to happen. I don't know. Now, he's still got a lot of other
he's got other stuff,
legal issues going on, but that's one of them. Let me finish this out real quick because it'll wrap things up. Other cases involving Trump remain before the Supreme Court or in lower courts. Trump is trying to block the Manhattan District Attorney's enforcement of subpoena for his tax returns, part of a criminal investigation into the president and his businesses. Lower courts are weighing congressional subpoenas for Trump's financial records, and the justices also have before them Trump's Trump's appeal of a decision forbidding him from blocking critics on his Twitter account. What? Did you hear about that one?
Say that one more time.
The justices also have before them Trump's appeal of a decision forbidding him from blocking critics on his Twitter account. Did you know Trump wasn't allowed to block critics on his Twitter account?
Wow, no.
I had not heard of that.
I mean,
what a strange
thing. That does prove I would be frustrated if I was Trump. You know, it's like one of the features of Twitter is you can block people.
Yeah.
If you can't block people.
That's like a torture chamber. To be Trump and not allowed to block people on Twitter.
I'm just picturing him, though, with his iPhone trying to block people. It's not working. Darn you, Jack. Jack, what are you doing?
What could possibly be the legal reason to forbid him from banning people? I could see Jack Dorsey being like, no, make him live with his critics. Let him see all of it. But yeah, that is really weird. Anyways, like the emoluments cases, Trump's appeal would seem to be moot now that he is out of office and also had his Twitter account suspended. Yeah, okay. Republican senators and some legal scholars have said that Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate cannot proceed now that he is once again a private citizen. But many scholars have said that Trump's return to private life poses no impediment to an impeachment trial. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think the Senate is going to convict him, but that's neither here nor there. It seems he's had he's been washed clean of a lot of lawsuits.
I'm just wondering what the Supreme Court is going to do. They seem to be throwing out a lot of cases. It's like they just want to collect the check and just, throw out all the election stuff. They're like, nah.
I don't think they get a check for for covering Trump or cases or something.
No, I'm just saying, just in general, they seem to be throwing out a lot of stuff. That's all we hear about is the SCOTUS throwing things out. You know, the election fraud stuff. Not going to do it. Throw it out. Well, fine. Then let's sue Trump.
They apparently can't be bothered, but he does have. At least at one time, it was thought that he had quite a number of allies on the Supreme Court. Now, that didn't quite get him what he wanted during the election. But yeah, there you go. He's being washed clean of a lot of things.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we haven't heard the end of Trump, so we'll keep an ear, an eye, and whatever else on him. But in the meantime, the stars have aligned. We are living in the hairy legs Biden era.
Got hairy legs. Got hairy legs.
And he's like a magician. He just makes things happen. This is Drew Holden on Twitter doing a side-by-side headline. And this is a screenshot of Joe Biden from October 15th, 2020, where he said, 8 months, we're 8 months into this pandemic, and Donald Trump still doesn't have a plan to get the virus under control. I do. And then next to that is a post from January 22nd, 2021, after his inauguration. Joe Biden, Washington Examiner. There is nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months. So, yeah. I mean, this is not surprising, but it's always interesting to see these types of side-by-sides with, and you mentioned it too, the Biden supporters are going to be pretty disappointed in the inactivity or the lack of promise-keeping of Joe.
Yeah.
But that's...
Well, and a lot of them are waking up to that, and a lot of them know. You know, there certainly are the sort of, run-of-the-mill Democrats who have a lot of faith in Biden. Then there's sort of the apprehensive Biden voters that weren't necessarily voting for Biden because they like Biden. They just really hated Trump.
Right.
And, I've been talking to a number of these Democrats over the past few weeks. And yeah, they are of no illusion that things are going to get better because of Biden. They're just happy to not have Trump. I sent you that. Didn't I send you that screenshot of that one tweet I saw floating around. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is from a Democrat here. Listening to Biden press conferences after 4 years of Trump is like finally getting your muffler fixed. No drama, no conspiracies, no xenophobia, no covfefe, just sweet, sweet lies. Lie to me, old white man, hair sniffer in chief. Sedate me with your even-toned neoliberal. I can't say it. Neoliberal nonsense. Woo me with your barely left of center rhetoric. So yes, that's the way a lot of them are feeling right now. But yes, even those who are diehard Biden supporters, they're the ones who are going to have a lot of pain over the next 4 years, I think.
Yeah, well, according to this video here, if you turn the volume way up, Biden doesn't even know what he's signing. This is Biden signing some executive orders here.
Oh, yeah.
Pulled out his pen. Opens it up. I don't know what I'm signing. Signs it anyway. So there you go. I do want to debunk something real quick. I saw people sharing this a video of I believe it was somebody that was watching the signing of the executive orders. And I'll just play it here.
Look at this. He is supposed to be signing executive orders.
Next one is referenced about.
Where's the writing? There's no writing on there.
So what she's referencing is she's got her iPhone. She's zooming in on what I think is her TV screen there. Yeah. And you can see the executive order, how they come in those little folders. He opens up the folder and you can't see any writing in there. So she's flipping out about not having any writing in the executive orders, but signing it anyway. And
there is nothing on that paper for these executive orders. Look at it.
Okay, so I want to debunk that real quick because another thing. You and I have done TV broadcasts, video productions, and all that kind of stuff, and what happens in that situation is lighting. Lighting is a thing.
Yeah. And overhead lighting would blow out whatever's on that white piece of paper. Yes. White is a very troublesome color to try to shoot. Oftentimes when you're seeing white on television or in a film, you're not actually seeing the actual white object. You're seeing a blown out version of it.
Right.
At least the video that I'm seeing right now on our stream, the quality of it would be, with small writing, you're never going to see it on a piece of paper from 10 feet away with bright overhead lighting on it. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Right. And so I tried to point out to those people that are peddling that idea. There's video. I just pulled up an old video of Trump signing some executive orders, and same deal. If Biden's not signing, if Biden's signing blank papers, and so is Trump. Now I have a zoomed in screenshot.
If they were trying to fake executive orders, like if they're just trying to put a show on, they would put some sort of writing on it. They wouldn't just hand them a blank piece of paper and try to fool the world.
Well, yes.
They would just put some intern to write a bunch of jibber jabber nonsense.
Yeah.
And have something on it.
That's the other point to this is even if they were faking it, what is there's no smoking gun for anything there. It's like, okay, they're still going to probably try to implement whatever executive order. I don't see the point. But
now there was the fact that the executive orders weren't showing up yet on the website.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked yet. But the other point, I have this zoomed in version of the Trump signing executive order. And again, you can't see any writing on the paper. I will give it to Trump, though. He used a Sharpie when he used to sign his executive orders. Yeah. So you can really see his signature. And in fact, in the video where I got this from, he lifts up, that famous, he lifts up the executive order and he shows the camera, the inside of it that he signed it. When he does that, you can barely see the written words typed in. And so you just, if you got friends or family or whatever that are really getting all worked up about, he's not signing anything. There's nothing written in it's video production stuff. It's not.
Yeah.
And
It's just
even if it was
overexposed.
and even if it was true, so what? What's the big deal? Like that, presidents and people fake it all the time. It's all sort of,
Well, right. By this logic, but if Biden is signing a blank piece of paper, then like you just showed, Trump having the exact same thing. Then Trump signed a bunch of blank pieces of paper.
right.
Is not some, some big thing.
Crazy conspiracy. All right, let's move on, though.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of stuff to be concerned about. This is the diplomat.com. U.S. Senate confirms Lloyd Austin as Secretary of Defense. And I'm just going to go straight to the part where the quote of concern here. He says, quote, "We'll have to have capabilities that allow us to present a credible threat, a credible deterrent, to China in the future. We'll have to make some strides in the use of quantum computing, the use of AI, artificial intelligence, the advent of connected battlefields, the space-based platforms.
Ooh.
Those kinds of things, I think, can give us the type of capabilities that we'll need to be able to hold large pieces of Chinese military inventory at risk."
Yeah, so all the crazy stuff us conspiracy theorists have been talking about for 10 years.
Yeah, and now that he's basically announcing this type of material but the technology being used as to fight against China, which has kind of been like our thing. I mean, it's
called it.
That's interesting. This is going to be a really crazy time to follow the military's
the military-industrial complex.
Yes, the military-industrial complex into the journey of the technocratic cyber future.
Yeah. And that's the part of because we've always talked about the concerns with China for years, but also the partnerships with all the different nations that are supposedly our adversaries. When you actually look behind the curtain, they're all working together. And It seems like this would be another one of those situations where, the China threat, good reason to roll out all of our sci-fi tech, So it's all kind of a Hegelian dialectic going on there. But
speaking of the technocracy gons, I got one last politics thing to talk about here in relation to the technocracy. This is coming from Vice.com, and this is another "I told you so." Let's see. The headline reads, "Technologists use facial recognition on Parler videos." Uh-oh. Technologists have used facial recognition techniques on the large archive of Parler videos filmed from the January 6th Capitol riots. Motherboard has learned. As if we didn't already know this, but okay, Motherboard. In some cases, they have been able to track individual faces across different videos, pinpointing where a person was at specific points in time, potentially even if they did not use Parler themselves. This is a interesting, makes interesting allusions to, what was that, the predictive policing movie?
Minority Report?
Yes, Minority Report. Or really any.
Or like Enemy of the State?
Futuristic, yes. I think that's the one I was actually meaning to reference. Yeah. The news signals how archivists hackers, and hobbyists continue to mine the Parler data for what they believe may be useful insights to provide law enforcement. It also highlights the fraught issue of facial recognition, which can often be inaccurate and require manual analysis to review, and more generally demonstrates the democratization of facial recognition. I don't know if we need to democratize that, but okay. Quote, "I have written a face recognition screener and processed about 900 Parler videos so far. I have pulled out about 40,000 faces so far." Wow. One of the technologists claimed. Motherboard granted the person anonymity to speak more candidly about the sensitive project. Earlier this month, a hacker known as Donk NB led a project to archive the contents of right-wing social media platform Parler after the Capitol riots. Amazon subsequently cut off service to Parler itself, making the archive and its mirrors more valuable to researchers and journalists. The data included users' public posts, videos, images, as well as their associated GPS data. Motherboard previously used some of that information to show Parler users posted to the network from inside military facilities. Gizmodo and Technologists used a similar approach to map videos uploaded from inside the Capitol during the riots. Wow, that's a bold move. While you're inside the riot, uploading videos. Inside the Capitol building. Now, some people are turning more to the content of the videos themselves, and specifically the faces in videos taken at the Capitol. Quote, step one was isolating each face indiscriminately from all of the videos. The Technologists explained, quote, step two was using the FaceNet model to group all of the faces of the same person together so that you can track them through the videos and, in effect, through location and time. The Technologists provided Motherboard with a small sample of their data and their code. The cache included a folder of faces that their tool had managed to pull from the Parler videos. A spreadsheet included a unique identifier for what the system believed was a particular person, which the video they appeared in, the timestamp of the appearance, and the latitude and longitude of where the video was taken. The small spreadsheet the Technologists provided showed 2 videos that the system said a particular person appeared in. Blah, blah, blah. So we understand how it works. But there you go. It goes into how inaccurate facial recognition can be, and goes into what they hope to do with the technology and the yada yada yada. But this is another good reason, folks, to get off of social media. Even beloved Parler is not safe. You know, it might provide what you would consider free speech that is getting taken away in different places, but that doesn't make it any safer in the long run, especially if you're going to be at high profile events. I don't think we showed it on the show, Gons, but I sent it to you. I mean, there was citizen journalists posting animated heat maps of Parler users' location during the riots. Yeah. You're no less connected just because you're on Parler versus some other thing. Now, a lot of this is moot because as of now, I believe Parler is still unavailable. Correct?
I think it is available now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's not.
I ain't gonna use it.
It's not a.
Oh, maybe not. You're right.
It's not a safe haven that it was sort of assumed to be by at least people posting about it on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it is not available. Technical difficulties. Well. Yeah. I mean, this is part of the consequences of using the infrastructure that is already in place, but also anytime you put anything as a public platform, people are going to use it and whatever algorithms they can throw on there for surveillance purposes.
And the unfortunate part being that it doesn't even have to be you. You know, part of it is, if you're at this event, you don't even have to be posting video or anything. You know, just posting a text post or even opening the app will record your GPS location. So that'll be on record. But even more than that, you know, if you're uploading videos and you're in a crowd of people who you consider to be your comrades or whatever you want to call them, patriots, then, if you're uploading a video, you're basically snitching on everybody around you. Yeah. And it's a good thing to know if you're at these events, you can be totally safe. You can leave your phone at home or whatever. So you personally can't be tracked. But if you're on somebody else's video, you're still in the system, baby. It's a rough time.
Yep, and
the Panopticon continues, and it's equipped. The Panopticon is equipped by your fellow, participants.
Yep, and this is all in connection to the all of the things that have occurred in the last year to speed up the process of putting up that apparatus, surveillance apparatus, which leads us to some quick updates about the Waccine and the pandemic special.
Waccine.
A pandemic special.
And this first story here I have is from Newsweek via MSN.com. Health professionals hope Hank Aaron's death won't deter people from getting vaccinated. And I don't know if you saw this, but there were a bunch of people on social media doing a side-by-side, headline, Hank Aaron gets the vaccine to, try to convince people that it's safe. And then like 2 weeks later, Hank Aaron dies, which is, he's 86. So, a little bit older, but still the optics of that. I mean, of course it's going to feed the anti-vax crowd.
Right.
And even, I'm even like, okay, so how did he die? Aaron received
Do they not tell you?
They claim that it's not from the vaccine. Aaron received his first dose of the Moderna vaccine on January 5th during a widely publicized event. Yada, yada, yada. At the time, Aaron spoke about wanting to reassure people and do his part to show the virus's spread. To slow the virus's spread. Quote, when you see Andy Young, myself, and some other civil rights leaders, it makes you feel good. For so long, they have opened themselves to do things to help so many other people, the Hall of Famer told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. If I can do something to help prolong someone's career, that's what I want to do. And then it doesn't really say how he died, I don't think, at least in this article. Following Aaron's death...
That's funny because, they usually are trying to change or at least steer the narrative to like, oh, he got the vaccine, but he died of unrelated things. It wasn't the vaccine. So it's kind of interesting how they are not even trying to steer this narrative. They're just letting it happen on its own.
Despite some skepticism, health officials and those who received the COVID vaccine with him said they hope that it doesn't discourage people from getting vaccinated, noting that trials did not indicate that vaccines could be the cause of death. Former director at the CDC's immunization program and professor at the Emory Vaccine Center, Dr. Walter A. Ornstein, told the AJC that he doesn't want people to be afraid of getting the vaccine. I mean, yeah, that's why the anti-vaxxers are jumping all over this, is because they didn't clearly say how he died.
Right. Well, and this goes back to the same problem that we've been having for the entire pandemic, which is, they'll tell these little white lies or omit truth because they don't want to set off conspiracy theorists or anti-vaxxers. And that just ends up fueling it even more.
I know.
They have not learned.
No. Another health expert described the timing between the vaccination and Aaron's death as coincidental. Saying that
it's all a coincidence.
Saying that these things can still happen within a close time frame to receiving the vaccine.
Liar!
So there you go. I mean, it's unfortunate to lose a national figure as Hank Aaron, although again he's 86, but again, don't know how he died. I would like to know. I'm sure his family would like to know too. So there's that. I did receive...
I'm having a hard time loading this next article here.
Yeah, this is just metalerts.org, and this documented 181 cases where vaccine targets COVID-19 and patients died. And so it just lists the reason for the death or just people that have died after receiving the vaccine, their age, and how soon after receiving the vaccine they passed away, and which vaccine, if it's Pfizer, Moderna, whatever. So go to canarycrynewstalk.com. It's hyperlinked there in the show notes. And yeah, I mean, I don't know when the last time this thing was updated, but 181 people have died after receiving the vaccine on this list anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say that actually sounds low compared to a lot of the reports that I've seen.
Well, I think this is like officially documented. And so...
is this in the world or in the United States?
I believe it's the U.S., but I could be wrong. I thought it was the U.S.
Yeah.
But again, not every one of these are going to be labeled as a vaccine-related death or a COVID-related death. This is the National Vaccine Information Center, after all, right? So
so it's not like they have
they don't have an incentive to really be accurate about it, but they even have to post numbers. And as of the last time it was updated, it was 181, which I'm sure it has grown since then. And also, did you catch this little clip?
Yeah, let's play a little
Dr.
clip here
Birx?
from Dr. Birx. We haven't heard from Dr. Birx in a while.
This is Dr. Birx on Face the Nation with Marge Brennan.
Face the Nation.
Do you think President Trump appreciated the gravity of the health crisis you were describing?
I think the president appreciated the gravity in March. It took a while after I arrived in the White House to remove all of the ancillary data that was coming in. I mean, there was parallel data streams coming into the White House that were not transparently utilized. And I needed to stop that. Where people
You mean outside advisors?
Outside advisors coming to inside advisors, and to this day, I mean, till the day I left, I'm convinced there were parallel data streams because
disinformation.
I saw the president presenting graphs that I never made. So I know that someone out there or someone inside was creating a parallel set of data and graphics that were shown to the president. I don't know to this day who, but I know what I sent up, and I know that what was in his hands was different from that.
There you go. Dr. Birx saying that there was parallel data being presented, and the president was being shown, and at least he was sharing to the public information that Dr. Birx hadn't shared. And I mean, this goes to show.
This is interesting. This kind of gives a subtle excuse for Trump. You know, a lot of people, of course, the mainstream narrative is that he's evil,
incompetent,
and purposefully. Well, yes, it ranges from incompetent to purposefully trying to murder Americans. And but what Birx is suggesting here is that, yeah, you know, within the White House structure, he was acting on a different set of information than she was preparing for him. Where that information was coming from, I do not know. But it is kind of a subtle defense or a subtle excuse for Trump, given, you know, the displeasure that everybody had with his choices that he was making.
You know who was there, who's still there, that I think would be responsible for something like that? They should ask this question to Daddy Fauci there.
Now is the time to do what you're told. Science is truth.
So if it was being filtered through Fauci, wouldn't he be the one that was? Because, I mean, the president appointed him to be the guy, right?
Well, I guess that's the question. But if he's not, if Trump wasn't getting the info that Birx was preparing, I don't know, maybe he was getting different info from Fauci. And then, of course, you could spiral out the conspiracy theory that Fauci was giving him different informations on purpose so he would make bad decisions and he would lose the election, something like that. If indeed somebody was a conspiracy-minded person, but who knows?
Yeah. They asked Fauci if what happened to the real data. He said, aliens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I think that's fake news, guys. Well, let's wrap up this Waccine segment with a story from CNBC.com.
Yep, CNBC.com. Pfizer says its COVID vaccine trial for kids aged 12 to 15 is fully enrolled. Ugh,
yeah. Mind if I read through this one real quick?
Go ahead.
Pfizer said it had fully enrolled its COVID-19 vaccine trial in kids ages 12 to 15, a key step before the vaccine could be used in that age group. Weird, because they didn't have a specific trial for pregnant women. They just kind of just let it happen.
Gave it to pregnant women.
Yeah.
And I think there was, well, I don't know how much to believe the stuff that I saw on social media of alleged people who were pregnant who had, you know, stillborns and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything credible quite yet. The study, an extension of the one used to support the company's emergency use authorization of the vaccine in people 16 and older, has enrolled 2,259 kids between 12 and 15, Pfizer told CNBC Friday. Its entry on a government website for clinical trials has updated to note it's no longer recruiting subjects. subjects.
Subjects.
The vaccine developed with German partner BioNTech was authorized for people ages 16 and older in December. Trials in younger age groups are necessary to ensure the correct dose, as well as safety and efficacy in those different groups, said Dr. Evan Anderson, a pediatrician at Emory University School of Medicine. Quote, I'm very uncomfortable sending my children back to school where, despite the best efforts of the school, there is real risk for contracting COVID-19. Anderson told CNBC in October. While children are less affected by COVID-19 than adults, they do still catch the virus and get sick. Some have even died. More than 2.5 million cases of COVID-19 had been reported in children as of January 14th, about 13% of all cases, according to a report from the American Academy of Pediatrics and Children's Hospital Association. I heard some questioning about this because it said COVID-19 had been reported in children, 2.5 million cases. And there was some weird wording that brought up questions of, were these, official PCR and PCR positive tests along with, symptoms being expressed, or was this just parents reporting, oh, my kid's staying home from school or whatever, can't show up to the Zoom class? Is this parental reporting or is this actual clinical stuff?
Whatever has more.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't matter. Whatever is more
whatever the bigger
deaths.
number is.
Bigger the number, the better.
Yeah, well, it does bring up some interesting questions, and I guess that's why they're doing the study with the mRNA vaccine. When a child, they're still developing in so many ways, especially 12 to 15 within that specific coming of age. Tampering with the body can really be a little bit more sketchy than an adult who has established bodily functions. But the thing goes on, quote, children can get sick and die from COVID-19, said Dr. Paul Offit. Wow, just getting right to the point. Director of the Vaccine Education Center and Infectious Diseases physician at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Quote, as many children this past year died from COVID-19 as died from influenza.
I don't know if that's...
Do we have the numbers on that influenza?
I can't pull it up right now due to time, but...
So. Yeah,
influenza went down like
they stopped recording influenza.
Yeah,
There was so little of it. So by that logic, there wouldn't be that many COVID-19 deaths. And we recommend an influenza vaccine for children. Anyways, it goes on. It's actually a quite long article meant to convince you, dear citizens, to make sure to get your kids vaccinated, not just for COVID-19, but for the flu as well. But the trials have started for the youngins. So this will be interesting to see how this affects the whole can kids go to school question. And, as studies have shown, at this point, school is the safest place for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that didn't get retracted or anything, did it?
No.
Yeah.
And just last thing, real quick, before we wrap it up here, because we have to get going. This was LX.com, which is, I think it's a NBC outlet here. There's no coronavirus baby boom. It's more like a baby bust. And they basically talk about how, despite the fact that people were locked down and all their social contact was cut off, there are no more babies being born.
Yeah.
And,
well, I guess a global pandemic and being trapped indoors with your significant other is not quite the
romantic
situation that they thought might be.
Well, it plays into an old quote we like to often cite.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
Yes. Well, that is the plan.
Yep.
Okay, Guns. Well, just to remind everybody, after this episode, we will be doing an interview for Canary Cry Radio. If you do not know what Canary Cry Radio is, that is our original podcast we started in 2012. It's an interview-style show, and we are going to continue doing interviews. So today, Guns, who do we have coming on the show?
We have Professor Judd Burton, and we're going to talk about Rephaim kings
Yeah.
And his recent work here, The War of the Words, God, Kings, and Their Titles, a preliminary report on the linguistic relationship between the Rephaim and royal titles in Eurasian languages. So
fascinating. I can't wait for this. It's the return of Judd Burton.
Yes.
He was on CCR episode 99.
Yeah. And
Cool.
I understand for those of you guys who are Canary Cry Radio listeners, we have not posted the last 4 episodes on the RSS feed of Canary Cry Radio. We're just behind on getting that done. So we'll get there.
We'll make all these available. They are available on the YouTube channel. You kind of got to seek them out. But remember to subscribe to all of our podcast channels, our RSS. You can just search Canary Cry Radio and Canary Cry News Talk on your favorite podcast platform. But Gons, before we get out of here, we should thank some people.
Yeah, let's do it real quick because we're very low on time.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's not a break, so let's go.
No, you didn't want to play anything. We got to transition.
Okay.
It's break time.
Oh, that's good. That feels nice. So we're going to take a quick break because after the break, we'll be starting an interview with Judd Burton. So
that'll be a separate feed. So those of you on this feed,
yes,
look for another video feed. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're on Twitch, it will just don't go anywhere. Just stay right where you are. If you're on YouTube, just return to the channel in a few minutes after we end the show. But we are on the value for value. So that means we need to thank some producers. And yes, I do very much mean producers. That's because the value for value model invites listeners to reject the advertising model, which seeks to turn you into a brainwashed, passive receiver of instructions in what to do as a helpful and productive economic unit of the beast system. And more than anything, the value for value model invites you to take control of your own media future and take responsibility as well. No longer, we're moving into a period where even mainstream media is starting to figure out that advertising is a bad way to go because the advertising industry is responsible, directly responsible for the phenomenon of censoring free speech, as well as turning you, dear listener, not treating you like a human being with thoughts and feelings and desires, but treating you like a commodity, like cattle to be loaded up, bundled up, and sold by content producers like Gons and myself to the highest bidder. And that just didn't sit right with us. That's why we don't take any corporate money. And to keep doing the show, we only answer to our producers, and our producers are you. One way to become a producer is to head over to patreon.com/CCNT for Canary Cry News Talk. And Gons, we have one wonderful producer over there who upgraded their support, and that is producer Christina.
Thank you, producer Christina. It was
Thank
a
you
big
very
upgrade,
much.
too. We appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you for taking responsibility and also helping us keep doing the show. We'll keep doing the show as long as people keep supporting it. That's just kind of the way it goes. If producers stop producing, then the show stops getting produced. But thankfully, that is not this day, because if you don't like Patreon, that's okay. There's a lot of reasons not to like Patreon. That's why we have canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That is right, Gons. Who do we have coming in on the PayPal?
PayPal, we have, first off, Jason RW coming in at $38.83. I think he mixed the birthdays in there.
The 38 and 83. Wow, very, he's such a mathematician.
I know.
Producer Jason.
He said, happy late birthday, Gons. Looking forward to the next age of deceit. So thank you for that, producer Jason.
Aren't we all? By the way, I forgot to mention, I just want to mention to all those who don't know, if you head over to canarycryradio.com/support, we have monthly producerships that you can sign up for. But if commitment is not your thing, you can also make a one-time producership in any amount. There's also cryptocurrency and fun stuff like that. And you can read more about the value for value model. So go right now, go.
Next, we have producer Ciara F.
Thank you very much, Producer Ciara.
And she gave us a note. I deleted my Patreon account, but I will support you here, unless you move to Venmo.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Yes. We've had a lot of requests for Venmo and Cash App and all sorts of, there's just so many things.
I know. Stick to Bitcoin. Producer Allison G.
Thank you very much, Producer Allison G. And I believe that Producer Allison is our executive producer for the day.
For episode 291. We're almost at 300 episodes of this show. That's crazy.
We just keep on going.
Coming in consistently and solidly, Producer Saul A. Thank you so much, Producer
Saul with a pocket full of sevens. Thank you very much.
And finally, Producer Paula coming in. I think that's the birthday support there. $19.83 for 1983, the year I was born.
Yes.
And
happy birthday again.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a good weekend, birthday weekend. Made it a special one. Thanks to all the people out there. And there's different ways you can support the show with your producership, not just with your treasure, but also with your time and your talent. You can send in jingles. And today we have a jingle that was submitted by producer James, a.k.a. White Hawk the Beatmaster, a.k.a. Seek the Truth TV on YouTube, or Odyssey on Twitter. It's a lot of different,
so many
multi-dimensional
personalities, yeah.
And this is another Kamala Harris jingle.
Our world is sick with war.
Everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
It's very dark.
Ooh, yes.
Dark
ominous. Ominous Kamala.
Kamala Dark.
Thank you very much, Producer James, and well done.
Yeah, nice job. Timestamps, Jade Bouncerson. Always want to thank you. She's the only one doing the timestamps right now on the Face Like This on YouTube channel. We invite others to do it if you are able. We do need that for people that just want to, look for certain stories instead of sitting through a whole episode. But also, one of the ways that have become very consistent on our show is with your artwork.
One art, please.
And we got a few to get through here. The first one first couple here is by producer Grace. And this one, Metaphor Wars.
Yes, referencing last episode where you and I continue to battle for who has the best metaphor about mRNA vaccines and other things.
And PCR tests and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So
yes.
It'll be an ongoing, it'll be our perpetual war, the metaphor wars. We will not step out.
The metaphor industrial complex.
And also, the rest of them here are pretty much, it just took a whole life of its own.
This was great. I was very happy to see this.
This is Barbell and Gains, our weightlifting personas.
Yes. Our new fitness personas, Barbell and Gains. So keep an eye out for that channel. Nothing much else to say about that.
No.
But she does have the Bitcoin and Gitcoin symbols on the side there. It'll be our mashup of workouts and cryptocurrency. Wow, we're turning into real bros.
We're gonna pump that price, bro. Let's pump some coins.
That price. That's funny.
Oh man, this is gonna be once somebody makes a cartoon out of this, we're gonna both appeal to the weightlifting realm, the fitness realm, and the crypto realm, and we're going to draw them into the Canary Cry world. This is great.
I think we're onto something, man.
This is a marketing plan.
TM, it's copyrighted. Nobody can take it.
TM. You just say TM, I guess it's...
I think that's how it works. Okay. I declare copyright.
I declare. So thank you for that, Producer Grace. Always funny and always good with just highlighting what we say and turning them into artwork. But not to be outdone, Producer Jeff H came in with a couple of. He put Gains and Barbell.
I know. See, this is an ongoing. There's been a silent war going on for about 10 years, where it's always been Basil and Gans. Mainly, we had a discussion. I don't know if you remember. Do you remember talking about this?
Kind of do, yeah.
Yeah, we were at work and trying to figure out. It was our first time recording using church equipment we weren't allowed to be using. And we were like trying to figure out, like, okay, who talks first? What do we say? Basil and Gons or Gons and Basil? We decided that Basil and Gons sounded better just because of the syllables, like da-da and da. Basil and Gons. And so, anyways, but this is a boring story. But throughout the decade of us doing podcasts, we'll get emails. People are like, hey, Gons and Basil. Gons and Basil. Basil and Gons. Which one is it? And every time I see the Gons first, I'm like, come on, that doesn't even sound as good.
It's not
even alphabetical.
It's like a passive hit against Basil.
I consider it violence.
Based on our standards today. You're not wrong. But yeah, anyway, Jeff H. came up with this piece of art here. He said, keep up the great work and thank you for the recent messages, reminding folks to be gracious and patient in these tense times. It's a mess out there. And how do you describe this? This is a...
Well, so they're canaries.
Yeah.
And he's given us both... one is obviously me because of googly eyes and two flippy arms eating a waffle because everybody loves waffles.
Yeah.
And I have Trump hair, which is really a sight to see. A canary with robot arms and Trump hair. And you have your Fu Manchu.
Yes.
Here. I love seeing the Fu Manchu and the samurai illusions of Gons. We're lucky that Gons is not a sensitive millennial and calling everybody racist, but that's okay. That's good.
You're racist. Go sit down.
And you also have some hair. I'm not sure what the reference is with that hair, but it's
well. There was a second image of like a close up. It said P.S. the spot. Well, yeah, underneath Barbell Gains and Barbell is a picture of like a living room with a whole bunch of spot robots. And that's the spot robots are Barbell's future cat family.
Ooh, okay, I get it. That's fun.
And then he also has like a close up of Gloucester canary. And he said, pretty sure the Gloucester canary is Gons' spirit animal. Look for more.
Is that not edited? That's an actual type of canary?
I don't know. He said, look for more Gloucester art from me in the future. So
okay. Looking good. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Producer Jeff.
Yes, thank you, Producer Jeff. And not to be outdone, finally, Producer Allie. Barbell and Gains.
Oh, yes.
Looking ripped.
Wow, those arms just keep getting bigger. And we're also wearing our Canary Cry or our Canary Swole Radio tank tops available at canarycrymerchperch.com. And I do have to tell a little bit of a story, Gons. Today, before the show, well, not right before the show, but early this morning, I woke up early and I was just drinking my coffee, doing my thing. Monday is usually one of my lifting days in my new self, trying to stay consistent, get those gains. And I just really didn't want to do it today. I was not going to do it today. I was just admitting that I wasn't going to work out today. And then I opened our email and saw this picture that Allie had created. And I saw how gigantic and veiny my arms are in her rendering. And I said, I have to do it.
You have to do it. Look at that. Look at that. You are, Allie, you are motivating Basil to get out of bed.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's really good news. It had an
actual reaction in my life. I worked out today, Allie, because of you in this picture. So thank you very much. Someday the gains will save my life. I'm kind of having to look at it like a Slumdog Millionaire situation where it's like, I don't really need the muscles right now, but someday I'll need them and I'll be glad that I have them.
You have like a web of veins going on your biceps too. It's pretty crazy. Mine's just I just got one big bicep vein, which is totally fine.
It's a good vein. It's a nice big vein.
It's a good vein.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Producer Allie. Always a pleasure. And yes, because of you, I got my gains today.
That's pretty impressive. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think as we said at the top of the show, we're going to have to cut off Canary Cry News Talk short for today, but stay tuned. We will have Dr. Judd Burton on.
That's right.
In a separate stream, the Rephaim Kings.
It promises to be very fascinating. So I recommend everybody do that. Remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you can stay right where you are. The stream will show up just a few minutes after we end here. If you're on YouTube or something like it, you can either watch out for the notification or just take your future into your own hands and hang out on the Canary Cry Radio or Face Like the Sun YouTube channel and refresh and wait for the live video to start.
Very good.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back with another news talk on Wednesday, January 27th. That's Wednesday, January 27th. Put it on your calendar. Turn on notifications. If you haven't done it yet, please press the like button beneath the video there and make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. We want to thank all of our producers for this episode 291 of Canary Cry News Talk. That is producer Christina, producer Jason, producer Ciara, producer Allison, producer Saul, producer Paula, and producer James for the jingle, and of course, all of our wonderful artists. Thank you so much. And remember, you too can become a producer of the show. As long as we're being produced, we'll continue to produce the show. So take that into consideration and take your future into your own hands by going to canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. And we will love to give you shout outs. Now, remember, we'll also need some reviews. Just as a reminder, reviews help way more than people think. It convinces the iTunes algorithms to suggest the podcast to people who have never heard it before. So please go to your Apple Podcast app or any podcasting app that you prefer. And if you can, leave a rating and review. Very, very helpful. And lastly, you got friends, you got family. They're all starting to wake up. They see that the world is not what it seems, and they might just be ready for Canary Cry News Talk, and we'll be happy to join in their journey. So please share the show on your social media, send it directly to a friend, and let them know what's up. And if you need any more instructions, here's what you do. You walk right up to him, you grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. All right. Any last words, Gons?
Nope. That's it. Thank you.
Make sure to stay tuned for Canary Cry Radio interview with Dr. Judd Burton. Again, Twitch, stay right where you are. YouTube, you got to put a little bit more effort into it. But other than that, we will see you there. And make sure to tune in to the next Canary Cry News Talk on January 27th. That's a Wednesday. But until you do, think outside the cage.
Sinful generation!
We should invite fewer people to be born.
It will kill.
Everybody loves waffles.
Aliens.
Science is truth. Now is the time to do what you're told.
Better, bigger, tastier.
Hallelujah. That was nice.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people zoo.
We will launch a new age. You can't handle the truth.
Stop this progress before it is too late!
Called it.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
I want to shake things up, shake things up. I want to shake things up, shake things up.
Leave the bird alone!
I want to stir up some controversy. I want to rattle a few cages. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. I'm the last angry man. You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man. A crusader for the little guy. Little guy. Little guy. Well, we'll see about that.
Whatever, Illuminati.
Fun fact, I believe it was another fun fact. Fun fact. Another fun fact.
Brings me back to my Screamo days.
It's a bodega. Don't get me started.
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
People, I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.